The implementation of Trump's tariff plan is crushing your 401k and IRAs. And I want to give you a few warnings or not to do's on how to make sure that you can minimize your losses and still maximize your profits at the end of this. I want to give you some insights on things that you need to be mindful of, watching your reaction to the sell-off since Trump's tariff plan has went into place. And then we're going to give a brief discussion after that on the overall landscape of the situation, where things might be headed, how you should continue to function going forward, and a little bit of a mental framework on how to handle these shifts when they come. So the very first thing I'm going to do is give credit to Forbes that put out an article giving their 8 investing mistakes to avoid. I don't agree with the entire list, or at least I don't have a focus point on the entire list. Maybe about 3 or 4 of these are relevant for you guys, my audience, my pioneers who I'm focused with. Some of these are kind of like for different demographics of people, but they are great talking points to help give some direction while we're going through a tumultuous time in the marketplace. And most of us are most exposed to the stock market through our 401ks and our IRAs. Let's just be frank. So I want to give you some insight. I'm picking out the 3 or 4 that are most relevant, that were my ideas as well, providing them for you. And I'm going to give you some context. So take notes, or just at least pay attention so you can make sure that you hopefully can avoid these mistakes. Or if you've made them, you can try to, be aware that you made them and hopefully maybe shake back from them in some form or fashion. And then again, we'll tie this all up at the end to kind of hopefully give you some more confidence to stay in the market, to stay focused, and to continue to build your wealth and grow out your assets. So the number one thing that Forbes put down that I also agree with tremendously is going to be the worst mistake you can make during this sell-off. Trump's tariff plan and the sell-off and the consequential sell-off from his tariff plan going into place is stopping or slowing contributions to your retirement accounts. This is 100% true. This is not the time to tuck tail and run and start cutting back on your retirement investments. Your retirement account, your 401k in particular, we're going to just stick with that for now. If you have a different retirement account that you're in, just stick through with this, is dollar cost averaging for you by default, meaning that every paycheck, you're naturally buying a consistent amount of exposure into the market, and you're buying dips as well as you're buying, growth. So at the end of the day, you stopping or slowing down your contributions because of what's happening in the marketplace and being under some delusion of that what's going on right now is like the end of the market and like everything's about to go to hell in a handbasket is a terrible idea. Do not stop or slow down your contributions based on what's going on in the marketplace right now. I promise you, it's not a good idea. As a matter of fact, towards the end of this video, I'm gonna pull my phone up and check my own portfolio, one of my portfolios, and tell you where it ended just today, just because there was a slight shift in where these tariffs are headed. But number one, do not stop or slow down your contributions to your retirement account. Next, selling stocks with big gains. I'm going to say selling stocks irrationally, period. All right, I'm going to twist that one a little bit. They're focused on, the tax implications of making those sales. And they're also focused on, is it still a long-term play that what you're selling? Is it still a long-term play? I'm focused on you selling prematurely, period. Whether you're selling at a gain or a loss, I want you to be mindful. If you're allowing the news and the market's reaction to these tariffs bait you into the concept of selling your shares prematurely or selling your positions prematurely, do not do that. Do not do that. You need to sell when it makes absolute financial and strategic sense for you, not based on the media hype or the market's sensationalized reaction to these political shifts and changes and geopolitical shifts and changes. Do not, if you have not already, do not make any significant sell-offs in your 401k or your IRA or whatever retirement account you're in. Next, not being properly diversified. This one is one I'm going to agree with as well. Do not, if you're not paying attention, do not overexpose yourself to one particular stock or one particular sector. This is basic systemic and market risk that you're facing, political risk that you're facing when you overexpose yourself to one particular stock or one particular sector. Be very, very mindful of your diversification. If you diversify effectively, it is almost no way in hell that the entire stock market is suffering at the same time. With proper diversification, you are going to experience a buffering from the sell-offs, from the downturns that some stocks and some sectors may be experiencing. Not everybody's suffering from the tariff situation. Some companies are booming because of the tariff situation. Some companies, this was right up their alley. If you're properly diversified, you may have a broad basket of each side to sustain you until this tariff situation blows over, which we're going to talk about that at the end. That is the next one. Not rebalancing on a regular schedule. This is a great one. Do not ignore your portfolio. Do not sit and forget to the extent in which you stay in the same stocks and the same positions indefinitely. It is not a good investment strategy, regardless of what political changes are going on, regardless of what environmental or market or systemic issues that we're having that could be affecting the market. Do not let your portfolio sit so untouched that you're not rebalancing or at least checking in on it anywhere from quarterly to semi-annually or at minimum annually, yearly. At least check on it that much. Please be mindful of rebalancing your portfolio based on what's going on that given quarter or that semi-annual or annual period that you're checking. Don't let your money sit stale for too long in that capacity. Not as in that it's not in motion, but sitting stale in the same investment strategy from 2, 3, 4 years ago. Just since 2020, we've had multiple economic cycles, crazy speed shifts in the economic and political landscape. You went from Joe Biden to President Trump, all in 4 years, bro. Please don't sit on the sideline and not rebalance your portfolio regularly. The next one and the last one that I think I agree with on this list is going to be going to all cash. This goes back to the whole overall sell-off concept. Don't jump and run out of equities. Don't stop, drop, and roll out of equities. All right. You're not on fire. It's just a sell-off. It's just a political a hypersensitive moment of political shift, a geopolitical shift, rebalancing of international trade. It is not a fire. It is not a forest fire. Please don't stop, drop, and run out of equities. Please do not sell off everything and then jump into cash and run and hide for your life and scream bloody murder. Hold firm. Rebalance if you need to. If you see there's obvious, deficits or issues in your portfolio, then move accordingly. I'm not telling you don't move. I'm just urging you not to sell prematurely. If your portfolio has been doing fine prior to these tariff shifts, or for that matter, prior to the inauguration and some of the shifts that have come since that point in time, then likely your portfolio is probably in a reasonable position overall. Closing thoughts on this. Stop thinking that this time is so unique from the last market sell-off or the last potential crash or correction that we've experienced. The financial markets are very fickle. They are very sensitive. There are multiples. Literally, I am FINRA licensed. One of our biggest sections of licensing, one of the biggest chapters in that study is going to be the various forms of risk the market is subjected to. There's constantly going to be things that are going to help the market take off and they're going to drag it down. None of these things tend to be a permanent situation. You have to stop thinking that when you see these significant market sell-offs, that it is time to avoid the market, panic in the market, or move erratically with your investments. It is not time for that. It's really never time for that. The next thing I want to drive home, the financial markets, the U.S. stock market in particular, the broader stock market as a whole across the globe, but the U.S. stock market in particular holds some of the most important wealth on the planet. Some of the richest individuals, companies and corporations, institutions, and even nations, when you think of sovereign wealth funds, hold U.S. stocks, are in the U.S. stock market. So for those of us who are mom and pop everyday individuals that are playing with 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 figures, in the stock market and think there's some kind of unique way that we're going to get our heads lopped off, by these, random or, circumstantial events that create these market sell-offs, there's some kind of way we're uniquely going to be brutalized by the market and it's all going to come crashing down and never come back is insane. You need to start understanding what risk really is. Risk is not being invested. Risk is not using financial, instruments and assets to advance yourself forward and taking calculated, smart risks and having healthy exposure limits to the right financial assets. That's risk. Sitting in cash, doing nothing is risk. A guaranteed loss, by the way, because of inflation and the loss of purchasing power. The stock market and the US stock market is going to be okay, generally speaking. Is it impervious to crashing or massive shifts on a global scale? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, at some point in time that the US stock market can fall from its supremacy as a top financial asset. But at the moment, based on the environment we're looking at, if you think Trump's tariffs, after all the years the stock market's been around, the world wars that have been survived, the pandemics and all the other things that have been survived, you think one president can come in with a different political and geopolitical viewpoint on international trade, can come in, implement a few policies and crash the stock market permanently? You need to seriously reevaluate your understanding of the world around you and your understanding of markets and money. That's not how this works. You need to calm down. If you happen to be somebody with a 401k or an IRA that's taking a beating and you're concerned, you need to calm down. This is just a shift. To prove my point, I'm going to pull up one of my small portfolios and look at how it did just today to close this video out, just to prove a point. Let's see how it changed today. So as you can see, and I'll do my best to try to put this in visibly, but if you can look somewhere up in the top, you will see, and maybe you look at the bottom, and I'm going to do my best. You may not get a good visual of this, but you can see the market is actually green as hell. It actually went up from what I can see around 11% today in the position that I'm in that particular portfolio, which is a broad S&P 500 index, by the way, in that particular one. It's like a little pot to the side. So it's nothing like any particular stocks. It's not my 401k. It's just an S&P 500. And from what I also saw, the NASDAQ and the Dow were all up nearly double digits or at double digits. That's just one day of tariffs shifting or being dropped for certain countries and really kind of focusing in on China, which was the ultimate goal from what we can tell anyway for Trump. That's one day of the market in jubilation because these tariffs aren't as broad scale and in depth as they look like they were going to be just a couple of days prior. So what I'm trying to show you is the overall stock market is a very turbulent place, but overall it is designed for endless growth. I'm not saying that's going to last forever, but it can very easily outlive any of us. The market has done this for a couple hundred years now, and there's nothing showing at the moment that's going to stop it in the near decades to come. So getting invested, staying invested, dollar cost averaging in, or consistently contributing, rebalancing, and making smart sales, buy and sell decisions is how you're going to win in the long term with your portfolio. Tariffs or no tariffs, international trade wars or not, the stock market will continue to do well because just about every significant financial entity in the world has a hand in the US stock market. So it's not in any country's, institution's best interest for the most part, with some exceptions, to see the US stock market obliterate overnight. It's just not. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because there's been a lot of coverage on this channel around 401ks, retirement assets, because most of us, that's our broadest exposure is going to be our retirement accounts and IRAs. Stay calm, stay focused, keep your money in motion, rebalance effectively, continue to dollar cost average, buy and sell with intellect, buy and sell with strategy. Don't panic. All my pioneers out there, welcome back. To all my new viewers, welcome in. Comment down below and let me know your current position in the stock market. Or is it your retirement account? Are you investing in an autonomous brokerage account? Is it an IRA? How's it doing? How's your confidence? How are you handling your portfolio right now? Comment down below and let me know. Other than that, I want you to like, comment, share, subscribe. You know how to support the channel so the channel can continue to reinvest and support you, pour back into you. And I want you to check me out on Instagram. Link will be in the description down below. Other than that, I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.